Well, I think that the figures that we saw this week in the national accounts, Tom, demonstrate that the Morrison government's economic recovery plan is working. In that December quarter, when we grew 3.1%, that was the second quarter only ever in history that we have grown above 3% 2 quarters in a row. But more importantly, it was a quarter where we saw federal government support and for coronavirus support halve, economic support halve, but at the same time we saw 320,000 new jobs created and over 2 million people begin to be graduated off JobKeeper. At the same time as we saw consumption increasing, we saw business investment increasing by 2.6%, largely as a response to the expanded instant asset write-off. So I think what we saw was that those economic initiatives that we put in place to assist with the recovery have beginning to take hold and are manifesting. I don't think you'd want to be in any other country other than Australia. We're growing at a rate now that's faster than all major advanced economies, including the US, France, Germany, the UK. This is a very positive sign, I think, for Australia.
So the biggest lever is JobKeeper. We've got a situation now where some industries are still doing it tough. Tourism, airlines, live entertainment, any business in CBDs as well is struggling. JobKeeper ends in 26 days. When will these businesses know what's next for them?
Well, I think that that's a really important point, is that with JobKeeper graduating, and JobKeeper was always supposed to be a temporary and targeted measure, that we now can...
It's not graduating, it's ending.
On those sectors that need the most support right now. And you mentioned a couple of them. Tourism, I think, is a really important one. And those sectors will know soon what support will be available to them. And that will continue on as long as those sectors are affected. We want to make sure that even though the economy is growing and is recovering, that it is patchy still. Some sectors are growing faster than others. But overall, it's a really positive sign for Australia that consumption is up, that business investment is up, that dwelling investment
you just said
is up. These are all
support continuing on. What exactly is continuing?
In terms of the economic support? Sorry, I misunderstood your question, Tom.
Yeah, sorry. When you spoke about those sectors doing it tough, what support continues beyond this month?
Well, I think you can expect that there will be announcements soon, imminently, about the type of support
26
those
days away.
Particular sectors can expect. Yes, I know it's very soon, but there is some announcements coming up. I don't want to front run those, but we have identified those sectors that are specifically affected, and they will be getting some economic support, far more targeted support. But think about this, Tom. It's only a year. It's a year next week since the first economic support package was announced by this government. That was the $17.6 billion stimulus package, which included things like the instant asset write-off. And now we're seeing, those preemptive initiatives coming home to roost in those good economic figures.
Superannuation as well, your area, the legislated increase again is very imminent, July 1. When will we find out what way that goes? The language, reading the tea leaves here, it seems at the very least it'll be delayed again.
The Prime Minister has made it very clear on this one that the superannuation guarantee rise is already legislated, but it does come with a trade-off. We know that there is a trade-off between future wage rises and super guarantee rises. That's a cost to employment, and it's going to be borne by somebody. And for that very reason, at a time when the Morrison government is doing everything it possibly can to put more people into work, to increase people's wages, this particular piece of legislation, which was put in place years ago, goes against that grain. That said, it's already there and it's already legislated. What is positive news, I think, this week is that the superannuation sector has grown to a new milestone. It's hit that $3 trillion mark. In fact, last year it grew considerably. About $120 billion was put into superannuation. And I think that's a demonstration of the strength and robustness of our system and the resilience of our superannuation system at a time of great financial volatility.